I got 100,000 pesos strapped around my stomach, and this girl looked like she was 18 years old. She comes up to me right on the street and says, "Can I help you, sir?" Prior to arriving in CDO, I booked an Airbnb. So this Airbnb was nearby Anicel's house because Anicel lives next to Van Depp Bake Shop, okay, in CDO. Her sister gets free accommodations because she and the husband work there at Van Depp's. So Van Depp's gives them some kind of accommodation. So they live next to Van Depp. So I booked my Airbnb to be next to or nearby the Van Depp's. So just prior to arriving in CDO, I show a screenshot of Google Maps. So I marked where my house is and then where she is, basically where her Van Depp's bake shop is. So Anisal replies, she says, "I don't live there." I said, "You don't live where?" She says, "That's not where I live." I said, "You live near Van Depp Bake Shop." "Yeah, but not that Van Depp Bake Shop." So there are two Van Depp Bake Shops in CDO. Obvious question, why the hell didn't you tell me there's two Van Depp Bake Shops? But just like that pizza incident, I didn't bother questioning her. There's just no point. So anyway, it was a 300 peso taxi ride back and forth every time, one way, so 600 pesos. So whatever, it is what it is. So anyway, that said, I arrive in the CDO airport. I get a Grab taxi. It's about a 1 hour ride from the CDO airport into CDO city. So I am watching my progress on Google Maps. So in CDO on Google Maps, I have two pins. One is my Airbnb and one is Anicel's house or Van Depp's Bake Shop, updated to where she really is at the other Van Depp's Bake Shop. So the taxi is going into CDO, and what I realize is the taxi is actually passing right in front of Anicel's house. So I message Anisel, I said, "Hey, actually, I'm passing right in front of your house." And I didn't know what answer to expect from her, but she says, "Okay, I'll see you tomorrow." So, okay, I guess you don't want to meet me. To her credit, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. So on top of that, I didn't really know exactly where she was. I just knew where the bake shop was. I'm in the taxi. I arrive to my destination. The taxi man stops in front of my Airbnb. I get my luggage out of the back. The taxi guy bolts. Here I am, standing in front of my Airbnb with 100,000 pesos strapped around my waist, my laptop bag, my carry-on bag, and my suitcase. There's only one problem. This isn't my goddamn Airbnb. So when the taxi guy let me out, it was dark and I couldn't really see well. He let me out in front of this structure, this building, and I assumed it was my place. So I'm standing there, I knock on the gate, there's no answer. I message on Airbnb, the chat app. I messaged the owner, I said, "Can you please come outside?" She says, "Are you there?" "Yes, I'm here. Please come outside," because I'm starting to get a bit of an audience here with the barangay people. They got nothing better to do than to stand outside and stare at me. So she says, "Take a picture and send it to me." So on the app, I take this picture, I send it to her. She says, "That's not the Airbnb." So here I am at a pretty low end barangay, okay? It's pretty low end, okay? We're talking man-made structures here. What really made me nervous was my laptop and this 100,000 pesos around my waist. I'm looking around, pretending like I know what I'm doing on my phone. People are just staring at me. And there's about 20 people on the street in a semicircle around me. And I'm like, what the hell? Where am I? I'm thinking, is this even CDO? So there's one man, he has a he's holding a baby. So I go up to this guy and I show him the map of where I'm supposed to go. Now, the problem was I pinned the wrong place, okay? How that happened, I don't know. I explained to this guy, like, okay, I'm here. I'm going here. Isn't this the right spot? I mean, is this the name of this road? So as I'm talking, I'm looking at my phone. And then I look up at the guy. He's just staring at me. Like, the guy doesn't speak a word of English. So then the people start laughing at me. So I walk the 10 feet back to the front of that gate to what I thought was my Airbnb, and I just pretend like I know what I'm doing. Like, I pretend like I'm waiting for the owner to come out. I mean, I'm not feeling good at this point. I'm like nervous, I'm scared, my heart's pounding. I don't know what I'm going to do in this situation. I'm terrified. So, from this semicircle of people, someone to approach me and ask if I need help. She looks young. She looks like 18 years old. I'm thinking, okay, as I see her approaching, I'm thinking, okay, this is either gonna be a very good thing or a very bad thing. So at this point, I didn't even bother showing her my map. I just said, I'm looking for my apartment. So she says, follow me. And I'm thinking, oh God, she's gonna sell me on something. I'm like, oh my God, I don't wanna follow this girl. But I'm not gaining anything by just standing there either. So I just followed her. She brought me up the road. She brought me to a all-female dormitory. The owner was outside and she says, can he stay here? I'm thinking, like, what the hell? I don't want to stay here. I've already got my apartment booked. The guy says, no, it's for females only. I'm like, well, whoop-de-doo, you know, like, where do I go now? At least I'm away from that semicircle of people. We turn around, we walk the other way, but this time at the intersection, we take a right turn. So we take a right turn. I see this sign. It says transient rooms. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the place I saw on Airbnb on the street view. So there's someone outside waiting for me. And when I entered the building, the girl just turned around and walked away. So she was actually a blessing in disguise, because if she wasn't there, I probably would just have been standing there in front of all these people. Now, the reason the owner didn't come out was because she actually wasn't there. She was watching from a CCTV camera they have at the front gate of where I'm supposed to be. That's how she knew I wasn't at the right place. And she had her assistant waiting there for me, but the assistant wasn't out. I mean, he didn't know where I was. So finally, I got to my accommodation. It's a good accommodation. It is simple, but it includes everything from electricity, high-speed internet, all the furnishings. It's got good security. You got to get through 3 gates before you actually get to your apartment. All this was just 10,000 pesos a month. Okay, guys, on the next video, I'm going to talk about that morning when I woke up and I met my LDR in person. I met NSL in person. Just a side note, as I'm just about to end here, shout out to Bisaya Kayo. She is a new subscriber. Thank you very much. And thank you to Doubting Thomas for the good conversation we're having online. Thank you guys, and I will see you soon. Next vid, I meet NSL in person. You've got to hear this.